one needs to realize that he's having a constant dialogue with himself, and you can either build yourself or really weaken yourself. So you have to speak to yourself the right way. You have to be your own life coach, and positive is the way to go, not negative. And unfortunately, many people are negative. They're caught in this negative bubble, and it destroys them. One day I was driving, back in my youth, I was driving on the highway, and I get to a red light, and I look to my left. In the car next to me, there's this lady, sneers, for the purpose of this story, very sneers, and she looked miserable. I'm serious. I look at her, I'm like, whoa! I felt the misery. I looked from my window to her car, and I see her in the car. No flirting. I just looked at her, and she looked miserable. Drive along. Lo and behold, Hashem put us together at the same next traffic light, again together, and this time she had rolled down her window for whatever reason. And no, you're getting the wrong idea. Not to talk to me. She rolled down her window, and I heard the music blasting out of her car, and it was one of those songs that a woman wrote that after she was like cheated on, divorced, lied to, abandoned, everything. It was like one of those songs that have it all. Everything terrible that a woman could go through rolled up into one song, and she's sitting there just screaming about it for 5 minutes. So this woman is absorbing the song written by this other lady in her misery, and it just permeated. She was miserable. Miserable. So what I learned from that? No, seriously. We create our song in our life. We create like the background music for our life, for our lives. You have to be very careful what kind of song you make, because if you create a miserable, negative, atmosphere, if the air you breathe is negativity, then it's just going to grow and grow inside of you. You have to create a positive, uplifting environment and energy and outlook. And then when you reach people and you communicate with people, so then you have to kind of have that you have to be a two-way street, so to speak, and that you have to first of all be open to see and feel what they're going through and see how you can uplift people. We need to create an environment that we're happy and in a positive attitude, and then we will relate to the people around us and the world that we're in a much better way, and will be conducive to really seeing and feeling the divine message that's just right in front of us. But if we're too distracted because we're overly concerned with ourselves, or if we're too focused on our desires, or if we're too depressed or too upset, we will block all of the potential good that's right in front of us. And this is really the base for this idea. There's a few places where we can learn it from. One of them is this Mishnah that says the person should learn from every person, as I began saying. Why is that a place where we could learn this lesson? Because what if that person that doesn't have any intellect to offer me? So what can I learn from him? So you have to realize Hashem put him in this world. Divine providence ordained that he's in front of me, and he has he has the spotlight in my life, in my world, in my experiences, and I'm supposed to take a lesson from that because Hashem communicated to me through him. So when it says we can learn from everyone and everything, why? Why is that so? Why is the world filled with so much potential to teach me and to make me and to build me into a better person? Because it's all Hashem. Hashem is the root of it all, and he's utilizing it all to help me grow and build myself. So that's why we can learn from everyone and everything. Okay. With that said, don't make the mistake that one of my old bosses. I used to work when I was going through my tshuva period. I was still young. I was about 25 years old. This is going to be a long story, guys. Just sit back in your chairs. I'm going to have another sip of this tea, and we're going to get into this. All right. So when I was about between 20 and 25, I was going through a very very deep contemplation, and I was making many changes in my life. I became religious and started to pursue a path of Torah. But before I actually wound up in a yeshiva, and they locked the door on me, out. They didn't let me in. So before I ended up coming to yeshiva, so this is an experience from a very early beginning stage of my return to the path of Hashem. And I remember being in that mode, by the way. This that I mentioned, that life is a school and Hashem is there. He's there. His presence is there. He permeates everything. And you can try to connect and relate. So this is a Hasidic concept that's well known. And I was influenced by these type of teachings, and I was really feeling on some level this type of reality. And I ended up taking a job. I wanted to relax, and I wanted to get away from the family business. I was involved we managed many different retail stores. It was very stressful. So I said I want a change of pace, and I want to kind of break away and start a new path. So I took a job working on an amusement park, just to make a bit of extra money and more like start to try to meditate and get out of the hustle and bustle that I was trapped in for many years. And at that point I didn't have a car. I was walking from place to place. It was very peaceful, very 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 mind. It opens your mind when you take walks. Walks are very good. So my boss said to me, "I'll give you a ride home." We worked late, and so one night it was late. He's like, "Let me give you a ride home." So he's giving me a ride home. And I'm riding with this guy, and he starts to share a bit of his own experience, because he actually was a businessman that he retired. He quit his job and everything, whatever. He worked for a company. He quit it all, and he bought this like amusement ride with his money, because he wanted to also, I guess, in some way, change his life, relax and appreciate, the time Hashem gives him in the world. He was not Jewish, and he was searching. And he started opening up to me about his life and what he's going through. And he started to say, I'm in this world. I look at everything as a message from God. And I try to see what he's trying to tell me. And he's like, giving me some examples. Like he's like, so sometimes I'm driving and I suddenly look at ahead of me and I see a stop sign. And I'm like, stop. What's God trying to tell me? I was thinking, he's trying to tell you, stop before you hurt somebody. Stop signs are good to stop it. And it dawned on me. Unbelievable realization. There are many people that are looking for God, looking for truth, looking for a better life, and have no clue how to do it. They are lost. They have no clue how to do it. This man had inspiration, and he lacked direction. He didn't have the vessels to internalize this longing for Hashem in his life, because no one taught him. No one ever showed him anything. So here he was trying to figure it all on his own. He decided to make an imaginary dialogue in his head about how God's telling him to stop, telling him to go. And that's taking it overboard. Because he lacked teachers. He lacked a community that could help harness his desires and direct him. And I realized, what a blessing. What a blessing to have been given a place, given a starting point, given a direction. Sky's the limit, but you got to know where you are. It says that there's a ladder rooted on earth and it reaches heaven. Thank God that we have a ladder that's rooted on earth. It's right here in front of us, and that first step is an easy step. Some people are looking around, the ladder's flying, they can't get to even the ladder to start climbing. They don't even know where to go. And that's an unbelievable blessing Hashem gave the nation of Israel, because we are the descendants of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. He gave us a Torah. He said, here I am, and here's what I have to say. You don't have to search anymore underneath rocks, you don't have to go to the mountains. It's here, and it's yours. I'm here, and I'm yours. And it's an unbelievable blessing that we have. And without it, we would be no different than anybody else. We'd be equally lost. And so be grateful and be thankful that when we have an awakening and a calling to turn to Hashem, just that we know that we're Jewish is already an unbelievable advantage, because we have now rabbis where to go to, we have books to read, and we have an oral living. We have a living Torah and a living communication that goes all the way back to Moses. No one has that. No one has that. I'm trying to communicate with people, because I put up maybe different Torah posts, videos, maybe little articles, and you see the response and the feedback. The blind leading the blind out there, and they think they're the educators. I put up recently a post spreading a video that speaks about reincarnation. It's my belief that spreading secrets of Torah, or at least awareness of them, will enlighten people, Jew and non-Jew, religious, secular, and let them appreciate the depth of what God really gave us in His Torah and what's really going on. The levels and layers of existence, spiritual. So I put a video up that addresses reincarnation. So some person responded. He got on my good side. He's like, this person, he liked my video, or he liked what I had to say. He goes, this person's really got it. He knows what he's talking about. And then he's like, however, he's wrong about coming back in bodies in the end of days, and like as if he's an authority, and he's some prophet or something. Thank you very much for I like the fact that thank you for accepting what I had to say. But he come off like he learned all of his life, 100 years, and he's just 100% sure of himself. Yeah, but he's a bit wrong about saying we come back in bodies. That's an old-fashioned idea. I'm like, okay. Again, blind leading the blind. When you think that you're your teacher, then how far can you go? You can only go as far as you already are. If you're your teacher, we have to recognize that we are in search for truth, in search for wisdom, and the humility that we have latent within us is what really helps guide us and overcome the challenges. And look, we all made it here in a base medrash, open ears, open hearts. It's as important as the open ears as the open hearts. And we're here, Baruch Hashem. We're changing our lives, and we're going to have, God willing, families. Hopefully, you'll do better than I have done in doing tshuva before you get married, and building a family that will be a praise, and just bring more glory to Hashem and His world.